This video will show you how to complete your training. Once you have gotten logged in to your Cengage Unlimited account, you will see your textbook listed here. You will click on that, and that will open up your view of all of the activities that you have available to you in the electronic textbook. You can go through the Getting Started with Mine tab if you want to. You should not need any of the student data files unless you're wanting to do additional activities that are listed at the end of the textbook chapters or modules. But for what we're doing, you won't need any of that. I'm going to take you into the Office 2016 and Windows 10 section, and the first part that you see here is your actual textbook. So that's where you go and read through the textbook, and then these are just it shows you some uses that you might have for the skills that are covered in this unit for the real world. And then you'll have lots of videos that will show you how to do some of the steps that are presented in each module. So if there's ever something that you are not quite figuring out from the reading, you can always go and watch the video. And when you click on it, there's lots of them listed there, so you can find the one that has the topic you're interested in and go watch that. Those videos are also integrated into the electronic textbook, so as you're reading through there, you will see some of those videos show up as well. Okay, to go ahead and go into our training, we will click on the training link. And every time you go into training, you will have the title of the training here. You will have the instructions, which will be the same each time. You can go ahead and do the check system, and that will just take you through, and it will tell you that everything looks good. So it appears that maybe I should change my screen resolution, but everything else looks okay for that. So then I can go ahead and click my Start button to start my training. And the reason it's a good thing to go through that check your system is if things are not set properly, you may not get them submitted and graded properly. The screen resolution is just a matter of will I be able to see everything on my screen or not the way that it's set. So that's one of the lesser ones that you really need to be concerned about. Okay, so I'm into my training now. I'll start up here in the left-hand corner. You have a menu button up here. This shows you that you are currently looking at task 1 of 25. This will take you back to the beginning of each task. If you get into it and you're like, that's not the way I'm supposed to be doing this, you can just hit that restart task. This is your go forward to the next task, and if you have ones that you've gone through, then you will have the go back to the previous task. Okay. Right below our menu there, you will see a black bar that has the Intro, Observe, Practice, and Apply. Most generally, your trainings start in the Intro version. I have set some of them up to automatically start in the Apply, because I know there are a lot of students that do not want to have to go from the Intro, Observe, Practice, and then into the Apply, which once I show you those, that will make more sense. The introduction just gives you this little gray box here and tells you that for Windows 10, how do you sort a list of files. And so this gives you some reading information about that, and that's all the intro part of this is. When you go to the Observe, this part, you do have to click the play button here.
In File Explorer, click the Size column heading. Windows sorts the files according to their size, from largest to smallest. The size indicates how much data the file contains.
Okay, so that is the Observe. When you use the Observe, it goes through the task, and it shows you and talks you through it step by step. That is one thing that you can use if you work through the practice and are still not getting it. You can always back up and go to the observe. The practice you will find is just like the observe, except instead of the computer doing it for you, you have to do the actions.
In File Explorer, click the Size column heading. Windows sorts the files according to their size, from largest to smallest. The size indicates how much data the file contains.
So now I have completed the intro, the observe, and the practice. So once you complete one of those steps, you will get this little blue box that comes up here. So I could go ahead and click the apply button at this time. When you're in the apply section, all you get is this little box down here that tells you what you are to do. So it just says sort the file list by size. Since I've watched that and I've done that in the observe and practice, I can just come right over here to size and click on it. Once you have done the apply correctly, you will get a little button that says correct, you've completed this task. It will forward you on to task 2. And so you'll follow this directions and then close the settings of the window. Or close the settings window. So it tells you it's complete and it moves you on to task 3. Now let's say that you need to end your training because something has come up and you're having to leave right away. You do want to make sure that you hit the submit button, and it will tell you that you've not completed all the tasks. Do you want to submit? You can go ahead and click the OK button. It tells me that I've only completed 2 of the tasks. That's fine. I can just go ahead and close. Now, let's say that time has passed. I'm coming back in. I wanted to start my training. When I come back into the training, it should pick up where you left off. You can always use the menu button up here in the top left-hand corner to see which of the tasks you have completed. In this case, I have the green check marks in front of those first 2 tasks, so I know I can just go to the next one that hasn't been answered and select it and go on to that one. Sometimes if you do skip through them, you will see that maybe you've got them wrong. You will see a red X for those that are wrong. So you may have some check marks down here and not check marks here, but you can always go back and forth through them until you get them all completed. So that is how you will do your training. I'm going to go ahead and submit this again, even though I haven't completed it. I will say OK to this, and I'm going to close out of this. Typically, you should get 100% on all of your trainings. It allows you to redo and redo and redo them. So that should not be an issue getting those completed. And remember, if you struggle in the apply portion of it, go back to the practice, let it step you through it, and you actually do the steps. And then if that's not helping you, then always go back to the observe. Once you have the training done, then you're, in this particular case, you're ready to go ahead and do this little quiz. And so the questions are going to be very similar, except you're not going to be given as much hints in the wording of the question that you're given. So I will show you here that whenever you have an incorrect action, this is for one of your performance steps, like you've seen in the training that you've done. So you'll have 3 attempts to get that correct. When you do true, false, multiple choice, you only get 1 attempt at those. And that will be for your exam, not for this particular quiz. This quiz will only have performance questions, which are just like what you've done in the training. So I'm going to open the training folder. Again, multiple ways that you can do that. So once I go through and do this, okay. So let's say that I have finished all of this. I will hit my submit button and I will hit the OK button. And then I will close out of here. So it tells me that my assignment has been submitted, and that is good. Now, a couple of ways you can check your scoring for this. Probably the easiest way is over here on the far right hand side. If you scroll all the way down, mine's not showing up on here. There's a circular button down at the bottom that says progress. If you click on that, it takes you into your grades that you have received for each of the assignments that you've done. So here's my office training. I've gotten an 8%, and then here's my quiz, which I also got an 8% on. So that's where you will see all of your grades. You will also notice that these all have the orange circle by them to tell you that they are going to be graded. So that's probably the quickest way. Once we get into doing the textbook project and the capstone project, I'll show you other ways that you can go in and look at the results of your work. So that's how you can do training, and hopefully that answers any of your questions.